Dear forum participants, welcome to panel session 2, Transformation of SDS IT Architecture. Central securities depositories are leading the way in modernizing financial market infrastructure. This session will focus on how they're upgrading old systems to more flexible, secure, and efficient technologies, enabling faster settlements, digital asset custody, and real-time data. Now, please welcome our moderator, Mr. Abdulla Jaffar Abdin, President of Africa and Middle East Depositories Association and CEO of Bahrain Clear, along with all our panelists. If you've got questions or thoughts while you're waiting, just scan the QR code and send them in. We'll get to as many as we can later on.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I think this is the last session before the dinner, and most of you wants to take a nap before we go for dinner on a lovely mountain, I think. So I promise that we'll make it as short as possible. What is the most critical, yet often invisible, foundation of a modern economy? It is the trust that when we buy a stock, a bond, or any type of securities, our ownership is real, secure, and instantly recognized. This trust is housed in an institution we all know, called, of course, Central Securities Depository. And for decades, the IT infrastructure of CSDs was like powerful, secure, but bullet of stone and designed for an age of precision, not for the speed of a bullet train. Without further ado, I'd like to ask our panelists to introduce themselves, please. Miguel?
Well, my name is Miguel Espinoza. I'm the head of capital markets at Montran, and we are a solution provider for one of the products that we have is a CSD solution.
Dr. Hossein?
Thank you very much. First, I've got to show my appreciation to the host, and also to WFC, and to the panel moderator, Hossein Mohammadi. Actually, I've got many hats, a couple of them, university professor. I've been working with financial market, capital and money market for 15 years, and also designing technology products for CSDs.
Thank you. Gerard?
Thanks, Abdullah, and echo the thanks that the two gentlemen on the right have given to the organizers. My name's Gerard Smith. I'm the head of post-trade product strategy at Nasdaq Marketplace Technology. I look after our CCP clearing and risk technology, CSD technology, and also our tokenization and digital asset technology. I've been with Nasdaq for about 3 years. Previously, 3 years in Hong Kong, 10 years at LSEG, and before that, some time at Euroclear in the Bank of England as well. So all my life working in post-trade.
Thank you, Gerard. Natalia?
Greetings, dear colleagues. I'm very glad to be here, and I would like to thank the forum organizers for this great discussion. I'm happy about it. My name is Natalia Tatarnikova, and I am the chief architect for NSD. And my main responsibility is to determine a target landscape that will satisfy all our new challenges. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalia. Bulat?
Good evening, everybody. I'm Bulat Nizamov from CMS Small Systems. We've been doing financial infrastructure for a long time. I'm directing capital markets products in CMA. It's an honor to be here. And of course, it's a tremendous session to discuss with so valuable speakers and with you. So I'm happy to be here. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Bulat. So the first question to you, Miguel, if I may. What are the main drivers pushing CSDs to rethink their IT infrastructures in terms of modernization, regulation, resilience, digital assets, competition, and efficiency, and last but not least, AI?
Well, you mentioned a lot of areas there, but definitely it's not a single driver that the CSD have when they are thinking about their IT infrastructure. I think a critical one is definitely when it comes to regulation. Lately, for instance, there has been a lot of focus on resilience, on making sure that you can run either extend the business operating hours to have the proper operational availability and so on. So there has been a lot of emphasis on that, making sure that where's your actual infrastructure. I think now with the usage of cloud solutions, there have been new opportunities, but with the opportunities also come new risks. So that's one of the important drivers that is there. That we can think. Then we also have the actual efficiency in processes, where there are, okay, how we can optimize some processes, and okay, maybe we have certain limitations with our existing solution, how we can get to the next level, what is there. And with that one, it also comes the fact that now there are, we can say, new technologies that are not necessarily that new, that we have been discussing about for the last few years. So some of them are quite important and have been providing a lot of help across the markets, especially for integration. I don't know, when we are talking about the standardization with, I don't know, ISO 20022 standards, also for securities information and corporate actions. There are a lot of information there that now it's easier to share when you have a solution that supports those international standards. On top of that, we have, when you are talking about new technologies, I mentioned already cloud. It's a key driver. But if we go farther down the road, there might be some programming languages that are getting, it's harder to find some people, for instance, working on certain specific areas. And then, of course, the AI, everybody has been talking about the AI, and I think we also touched the point of DLT that we've been discussing. I believe that most of us have been in conferences like this talking about DLT for many years, and which has been driving some of the change, in a sense that either you need to be buzzword compliant and you need to put, I don't know, a press release. Today in the morning someone was mentioning that, okay, you have to have the right press release saying, okay, I've done it. But it's also an important element. And again, as a solution provider, we are happy to be working with some of our clients on that, but it's always important to look into what it's actually the business need to get there.
Thank you, Miguel. Question to you, Dr. Hossein, if I may. So how do you see technology services and consecutive development of tech services evolving in CSD in the decades to come?
Thank you very much for the question. Let me first clarify a bit, all right? Because there are some superstitions, to be precise about this. Everybody is looking for a magic bullet. This magic bullet sometimes comes in the form of DLT, sometimes AI, these buzzwords that they come and they go. Mm-hmm. Look, tokenization is something different and shall be differentiated from DLT. Mm-hmm. Tokenization is a valid movement by those who seek freedom, at least from their point of view, that they say financial systems are too much regulated and we want to trade our stock, trade our equities, trade our securities more freely. This is a financial concept. But DLT in itself, it's not a technology, even the abbreviation is wrong. It's not a technology, it's an algorithm. It is an algorithm for consensus. Not particularly good algorithm. There are better algorithms for that. So everybody is looking for these superstitions, and this would not lead to something on the ground. So tokenization is valid. I'm not very big on DLT because, let's be honest, we are central securities depository, central depository, and we are talking about something distributed. In essence, it is contradictory. Yeah. In essence. So as a university professor, we always say in design, if you can design something centralized, design it centralized, because distribution means 10 times more cost, and with cost, with distribution comes misintegrity, risks, and many things. So we don't distribute a system unless we have to distribute it. And getting to your point, the first thing that I'm seeing in the future is that CSDs would put aside this superstition and go for tokenization directly. This tokenization can be done in central securities. We already have CSDs as a point of trust. So why we go and use an algorithm that is based on no one can trust each other? So this is very important. This is the first point. So returning to philosophy, I think there would be redesigns for market participation. For example, register agents, custodians, transfer agents. These concepts can be altered through tokenization and through AI, all right. AI is the current buzzword. DLT has been the buzzword for the last 5 or 6 years. But I think there is a contradiction again here. Those who seek tokenization seek to be a bit out of law, out of regulation. And there would be an inherent challenge in bringing them into CSDs. But I would call for all CSDs to go and register tokenized assets and do it centrally, not going for fashion, going for functionality. Last but not least, it is very important to mention, even cryptocurrencies that are not currencies, actually they are assets nowadays, but technically, even those things, more than 90%, they're not using DLT. When you are buying, I mean, people when buying these things, they don't consider, let's put it this way more politely, that whether this is kept in a distributed ledger or in a central ledger. Actually, most of them, more than 90%, are kept in a central ledger, in a book entry of a single website, and that website, that web application, it's called broker nowadays. Actually, it's an all-in exchange. It doesn't have or pose any standardization and risk management. So it's better for CSDs to go there, provide this service, and at least bring for them a peace of mind.
Thank you, Dr. Thank you. Gerard, I hope my next question will not considered be based on inside information or conflict. So anyway, so Nasdaq has a growing number of CSD clients like us in Bahrain. Can you give us some insight into the evolving way in which CSDs are thinking about architecture and infrastructure? What can we expect to see in the next 5 years? In our case, I know it's 2 years, but I think the audience would like to hear from you in the next 5 years, please.
Thanks, yeah. We're actually really lucky to have 8 CSDs now on our most modern technology and other CSD clients that are beginning that journey to migrate to the newest technology. So, you know, we're very proud of having that community that we can learn from and that we can bring our investments that we're doing in the technology to allow them to grow and to grow their markets. So it's really important to us, that kind of community that we have. And that community stretches from Indonesia all the way across to several clients in the Middle East, and now a lot of clients in Latin America as well. So we're very proud of that. So what are those CSDs thinking about in terms of how they grow their business, and also if they're on that migration path to new technology? Typically, these are clients that are on very old technology. It's quite monolithic. So we're moving them into an architecture which is much more modular, has open APIs that are loosely coupled so that you can change one of the modules without necessarily having to change others. So that's very important for agility. From a data model perspective, our technology is built using ISO standards. So the kind of standardization that we want to develop across the industry is kind of inbuilt within the technology itself. And at the same time, that modular design enables us to create what we call global modules, local modules, which allows us to implement client-specific requirements that they have for their particular market, which is important as well. But the key to kind of good design for architecture is making sure that scalability stuff works well. Because we have certain CSDs that have 50,000 accounts, and then we have CSDs with investor account model, which can scale up to 50 million accounts. So the horizontal scalability aspect is really important. The second thing that they're thinking about is how do I make the journey to cloud? And not all clients are thinking about that. And when I think back to when I joined Nasdaq 3 years ago, my perception was that the journey to cloud for FMIs was going to be particularly slow. I was wrong about that, because now on the CCP side, we have 5 implementations going on in parallel, and every single one of those clients is moving to cloud, typically self-managed cloud. But we've also got one client now who's moving to a managed service, where Nasdaq will actually take care of the technology operations for them, allowing them to concentrate on business development. So cloud has been a very important feature of modernization. Digital assets is something as well that we've been investing in Nasdaq. And I agree with you to a certain extent around the centralization aspect, right? You need, CSD is about being a central depository. And so the way that we look at digital assets is allowing our clients to be able to bridge into the DeFi world. And so certain things that we're looking at, one is how we enable CSDs to tokenize the assets that they have, albeit in a centralized way. So taking advantage of smart contracts and the benefits that those can bring, but at the same time keeping the centralized nature of it, because I agree with you, going full DLT is a lot of heavy lifting for not just the CSD, but also the marketplace. So 2 things on digital assets that really top of mind for me is allowing CSDs to issue securities onto public networks, become notaries for those securities, and be able to track those securities, understand the ownership of those securities. And secondly, we tend to miss out the other aspect of digital assets, which is it's a payment leg. So I can foresee in future 3 to 5 years' time, looking forward, that CSDs are going to want to be able to settle not just against central bank money, but possibly digital central bank money, stable coins, and other forms of payment systems in other currencies. So we're also now thinking about how do we bridge our CSD product into that. And then finally, I would say that you need to have data centricity about the way in which you think about your architecture. So, if you want to enable insights into the data that you have, you'd be able to monetize those insights. And if you want to take advantage of AI, you better have a good architecture, and you better have a good data governance model in order to be able to enable the AI stuff of the future.
Thank you, Gerard. Natalia, can you please share with us what's happening with the IT architecture transformation at NCSD? What are the key trends for you right now?
Thank you for the question. At the moment, the NSD is going through another cycle of IT transformation. But before I explain what exactly is changing, I would like to highlight the main drivers behind these changes. NSD provides services and products across different business lines. This includes not only central depository, this is a banking, clearing, repository, and technological services and data products. And to be honest, until recently, the IT landscape more or less meet the need of the business processes built up on it. But the financial market has changed. So the first main drivers is the mass involvement in financial market of individuals. Previously, NSD worked in B2B model, and only with professional market participants. However, individuals, investors have brought their consumer habits into financial market, and we can see shift to B2B2C model. Individuals are used to having access to digital financial services at any time and on any day. So we face with the need to support settlements and trading in a 24/7 mode. Also, individuals generate dramatically more financial transactions, so we got new challenges in maintaining the performance of our ecosystem. And it was first driver, and the second driver is the competitive environment is changing. New strong players challenges the CSDs position. So we focus on implementing a more client-oriented approach. We should be faster in delivery of our services and product to the market. We should be caring to their needs. And we need to look to our clients holistically and design integrate user experience for them. So as you can see, it's absolutely quite traditional. The IT landscape built in previous years has stopped keeping up with challenges of the time. To close this gap, we initiated a large-scale IT architecture transformation of our key system. So mostly, this meaning migrating from monolithic solution to a component-based architecture. This is nothing new, but this is the most reliable way to build a transparent landscape where each component solves its business task the most effectively. Thanks.
Thank you, Natalia. Back to you, Mr. Bulat. I think you have more than 20 years of experience and you have been handling the implementation of mission critical financial market infrastructure. So what IT architecture decision made today will define a successful CSD in the future?
Thank you again for this ability to talk. Last year at CSD conference, I've shared our vision for generation. Actually, it should be a slide here about generations, how we see the generation of CSDs. So today I want to tell you that we have moved beyond that vision, beyond the vision of fourth generation. I will come to this a little bit later. So we have built the foundation for what comes next. As you know, this year CMA implemented two major CSD projects. One was in Vietnam Stock Exchange, another was for Central Bank of Pakistan. Vietnam Stock Exchange, one of the top 35 was exchange in the world. And both systems work at beneficial ownership levels. Together they serve capital more than 350 million people. And in terms of performance, the system is quite advanced. What we have implemented, like more than 90,000 transactions per minute with 30 million beneficial accounts upscaling. But I want to be clear. The question we should be asking about architecture is not about specific technology like cloud or blockchain, or it's not just about adding another API. This is a much bigger decision. It's about CSD future capability, and of course it's about your vision. The most critical architecture choice you can make right now is to build for autonomy with enhanced safety and operational efficiency. So you will move beyond the limitation of legacy architectures. To understand, think of it as evolution of CSDs. First generation, I'll give you explanation. First generation was just digital ledgers. Then second and third generations, we connected everything. We got faster, STP based, but we were still just reacting at the post trade. Then came the fourth generation, what we have now. This was a big leap. We became proactive. We started to using data to see problems coming, like a potential liquidity cases, and warn people in advance. This was a huge advantage. But here was the challenge. We could see the problem coming, but we could not automatically fix it. Resolution still require manual intervention. That's the limitation is today for the architecture. So what we envisioned that the fifth generation changes everything. It's not about better warnings, it's about actions. So it's about systems that fix the problem themselves automatically. Imagine this, instead of getting an alert about collateral shortfall that mentioned in previous session, the system itself will instantly find the needed funds and settle it without human intervention in milliseconds. And the risk is just gone by this. So prevented by design. So this, of course, will require a completely new core of the system, built with AI, built with machine learning, and also, which is important, built with the real-time speed. We at CMA, we already have built this foundation ready to work. Our work with our latest implementation proves that possible, that platform can be AI ready, ML ready by design, and also real-time by design. So opening the 5th generation capabilities, the CSD that, but to the moment, the business is ready to use it. And the business could pick up the cases for better risk control, liquidity optimization, better settlement failure. All these foundation makes possible and moves beyond 4th generation. So if the 4th generation with data quality, with APIs, think of it like a data highway. So then the 5th generation is you putting autonomous vehicle on this, and it will drive on the highway with making a speed decision much, much faster. So this is where the real transformation will happen. So by building new CSD generations, we do more than upgrade architecture. We turn financial infrastructure from a cost center into your business advantage. So that's what we envision in CMA. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Miguel. I think this event and panelists, the 7th, that we are together on the same panel, and I hope that this is not annoying you anymore. Is it? So, question to you, if I may. Technology is just the starting point. How does Montran, as a solution provider, help clients manage the organizational and cultural aspects of transformation?
Okay, first of all, going back to the first question, it's a pleasure always to share a panel with you.
Thank you.
Talking about technology, okay, we are talking about the solution provider. We've done this several times and in multiple markets, multiple regions, but to be honest, the main conclusion that we reach each time is that it's not about technology. Mm-hmm. The change actually goes deeper. Some of you or most of you may have been part of this, okay, let's change a core system, the core solution, and you may have done it after maybe 10 years, 15 years. Today someone mentioned even after 30 years that having a solution running. So it's not something that you do on a daily basis. And what it's important, maybe going and working, for instance, with Montran, what we focus a lot, it's on the change management part, on the actual project management activities, on the training capacity, and making sure that it's not only about, because technology, again, we can talk about tech words and fancy words, but it's not about that. It's actually how we can actually implement and how we can make people to adopt those. It's quite interesting because as part of one of the working groups that we have, as some of you may know, there's the International Securities Association, and we have Julia here also that will be talking more on that. But there's the CSD working group, and the paper that will be released in the next couple of weeks, from what I understand, it's talking specifically about that change management, because it's not only about technology, it's about all the stakeholders, what's going to happen with the brokers, what's going to happen with the participants, and especially working with a company with a track record and with experience goes deeper. Okay, how you're approaching those real issues, because again, we can give you the best technology with the latest, again, techie words, but if you don't manage to get the proper adoption, if you don't get on board the participants, that could start even before you define what's the vendor, because you need to know what's the need, what are the requirements in the market. So that's critical to work into the market. And of course, also it's important to have a global view, participate again in this kind of events, and not only that, but making sure that when you're discussing with either if you go with a vendor or with your team, that you need to trust them in a sense that there should be that mutual trust, because we're building a partnership. It's not that you're just getting a solution provider. It's not, okay, it's not that you're getting, I don't know, Microsoft Word. You're getting basically a company that will be your partner for the next 10, 15, we heard today, 30 years. In our case, we've been working with some institutions for over 30 years. We have others work for over 50 years. So that's the key in making sure that you understand that it's not only the technology, it's the whole market.
Thank you, Miguel. Dr. Hossein, what attracted me from the previous session, our colleagues from the World Bank, that they mentioned that there are lots of CSDs using off-the-shelf technologies for FMI. So my question to you, how does CSDI manage technological neutrality and strike balance between in-house, outsource, and off-the-shelf technologies? So what would you recommend fellow CSDs as a working experience, Doctor?
Thank you very much. Taking from your point, actually, I agree. Systems work by their design, not by their technology. This is very important. Yeah. Technology is something can be very attractive today, not so attractive tomorrow. So, sticking to technology point, CSDs shall not, from my point of view, at least an academic, I'm telling you, CSDs shall not use bleeding edge technology. Why? Because they want to offer stable services. So off-the-shelf technology is always better because it is already tested. So what we are doing with the concept of technology neutrality is that especially we skip vendor locking. So it is very much important to have vendors, yes. Some CSDs manage to develop in-house, but it's not feasible actually in most cases. So it is very important to go for an open architecture. First, go for design yourself. I mean, a CSD, as a CSD, I can't go and buy a solution. I have to, as my colleague said, I have to first start thinking myself. I have to design myself and think in business terms. Then an open architecture, a modular architecture, as the other colleagues here from Nasdaq said. So for us, we use multiple technology stacks, not to be tied to one of them. And just a recent point, look, to be honest, everybody, speaking very frankly, those who own technology, this forum is not a political one, so I'm not going to politics. But they did a bit of treachery, all right? And we as CSDs, we are concerned. So what if someday you come and you're not in good terms with owner of the technology and your data is already locked or corrupted in your database? So you have to have multiple technologies. We as CSDs, we have promised everybody that we will save cheap their positions, save cheap their assets. So for newer things like AI, Gen AI, yes, they are good. I mean, for example, we are nowadays thinking about using Gen AI for next generation cyber resiliency. But cyber resiliency first comes from technology neutrality, then from Gen AI. For example, we use multiple DBMSs, database management system. We even use, because our special case, we even store our data in a raw format somewhere else. That's the first point. The second one, I want to go a bit off topic. Look, for these buzzwords, AI, DLT things, I have 3 messages to CSDs. First, Holy Quran says, if something is beneficial to people, it would stay on the ground. It would stay on earth. It's very important. Flood comes, with floods comes a lot of foam. This foam goes in a jiffy, but the water, which benefits people, would stay on the ground. So, my message is, leave fads and superstitions and hypes aside. If you can't understand something, it's probably rubbish. All right? So people are talking, look, this Gen AI would revolutionize everything. No, it will not revolutionize it unless we can understand it. Unless, I'm not saying you would be a computer scientist. If you would be a computer scientist, I would be out of job. But I mean, at least you have to understand what on the ground this technology or this concept would bring to you. Yeah. This is the first one. Second, as I said, first go for the design in business terms and in resiliency. I think next 10 years would be cyber resiliency marathon for all of us. I'm not talking just cyber security. Cyber resiliency is much more than that. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. So, Gerard, I think I have a question that I really badly needed an answer to it because I wanted to use it for our case. So, how important it is to have the right architecture when thinking about how to adopt new technology, cloud and AI into CSD system and operations.
Yeah. So let's take the cloud one first. So from a technical perspective, you need to kind of like adopt the kind of containerization that cloud works best with, and that enables you. You mentioned vendor lock-in before. That enables you to move between on-prem type installations to cloud, and it allows you to move from one cloud vendor to another. So it's important to have that as a foundation for the cloud journey. And then what cloud is going to give you, again, from a more technical perspective, is the ability to scale. So the elasticity of cloud, allowing you when, especially with CSDs that have uneven workloads, you know, most of the settlement happens in the first few cycles in the morning, and you're pretty flat the rest of the day, but it's going to allow you to scale up for events where you have market volatility. But then from the business perspective, think about what cloud's going to give you in that sense. And the two things that spring to mind really are, first of all, it's going to unlock innovation for you. So a lot of the cloud providers are really at the cutting edge of offering services, and those services can be around infosec and cybersecurity. Those services can be around AI as well. So you have a relationship with those guys, you're going to be able to take advantage of those services. And the second thing is really it unlocks within your own organization the ability to innovate more, because you've taken away from your organization what we at Nasdaq talk about or talk about is kind of undifferentiated heavy lifting. So as a market infrastructure, you're managing and owning hardware and data centers and all of that kind of stuff. So give that to somebody who knows how that works and can do it well in a really professional way and take advantage of their innovation, because you're not going to get any benefit really out of doing it yourself. And that's a little bit of a mindset shift to make before you fully adopt cloud. So then let's come to AI. And at Nasdaq, we think of AI in two ways. We think about it on the business and in the product. So on the business, for us, means how do we adopt AI internally within Nasdaq to make ourselves more efficient? And that can be, me having it on my desktop to be able to ask AI questions about different clients, about what we're doing on our product roadmaps, et cetera, or just to summarize emails that I get. But in our development organization, that means taking advantage of the AI tools to help in development and testing itself. So that's going to make us much more efficient. When it comes to, and then there's AI in the product. So we're putting AI in post-trade into our CCP products, into our CSD product, in order to unlock benefits for our clients as well. So in the product for us becomes on the business for you. But the kind of prerequisite for being able to do that is for our clients to have a really well-formed kind of data strategy. So how are you managing data? What's the governance around it? How are you collecting it? How are you normalizing it? How are you making it ready for yourselves to take advantage of it? Then we can put the AI stuff on top of that and start getting the insights out of it. So practical examples of what we're doing, both in CCP and CSD, is first step AI assistance for the product itself. So that enables the users of the product, so the operational teams or the risk teams that are using it internally within the CSD, to ask questions of the product. How does this API work? Show me the documentation around this specific module. Enables people to better understand the product that they're using on a day-to-day basis and how it works. And that can then be extended out to your clients as well. So if you think about that, what that's doing is allowing you to enable your clients to ask questions of you without you having to do the heavy lifting of having to answer emails, having to answer calls, etc. And the really neat part about it is that it's not just the product information about how your CSD works. You can also put into the large language model all of your documentation, your rulebook, your procedures, things that you would normally put onto your website and have to maintain on the website. They all go in the LLM as well. And that enables the client to ask the questions, get answers at their fingertips, and that enables you also to monetize how you're answering client questions. So there are some CCPs around the world that are already putting that into production, and we're going to enable our clients to do that as well. But one of the important aspects to think about in AI is that you have to have an architecture that's agnostic to the LLM provider. So AI companies are progressing at speed all the time, and who knows who's going to be the winners of that race. So you can have the latest LLM model from one provider which is way ahead of the others. So you need to be able to, as an FMI, switch to another LLM without being tied into the other one. So the architecture that we've built around that makes it agnostic, so we can switch LLM to whichever our client prefers or whichever we prefer, and take advantage of the latest developments in AI. So that's an important architectural aspect of that.
Thank you, Gerard. Forgive me for this, I would call it a stupid question. So have you seen any kind of hybrid kind of infrastructure on the business versus iCloud or cloud?
When it comes to cloud?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of clients will want to take their first steps into managing the cloud infrastructure by deploying it for their test systems. Mm. And that's a pretty good idea, actually, because if you're going to manage cloud yourself, there's a learning curve, and there's some skills that you need to obtain and adopt and nurture within your organization. So a good way of doing that without impacting your production systems is to do it on your test systems. And then the next step is to take it into production. And then you have other deployment models where maybe your production, your primary and secondary systems are operated in cloud, but your DR side is on-prem. And you can have other ways of mixing up that model. So yes, the hybrid models are absolutely possible.
Okay, so it's not marketing, it's just that we as Bahrain, we'll be hopefully going for Nasdaq technology. So I got today a free consultation, thank you. Anyway, so back to you, Natalia. In your opinion, what are the main challenges of IT transformation process at NSD? How would you recommend to answer them?
Yes, it's a good question, thank you. As I mentioned, our mainstream is transformation is migrating from a monolithic solution to component-based architecture. So let me share our experience, what we are doing. The core exercises in the very first stage is to decompose all our functions, all our capabilities into separate groups. To do this correctly, we focused on the business architecture. What does it mean? This means that we described previously all our key business capabilities, business processes, assigned responsibility for them, and mapped them into system functions. This helped us identify gaps in our business architecture, such as capabilities without owners, or duplication of capabilities or functions. So now we try to put one group of capabilities into one solution with one business owner. It's first. The next step after the boundaries of the target IT service have been formed, we determine which business domain it belongs to. What is domain? We divided our landscape into different domains from front office to reporting and analytics through customer value chain. At that moment, we have formed 22 such domains. What is the example? Digital experience domain, or depository domain, or banking domain, or even cybersecurity domain or innovation domain. For each domain, we fixed several important characteristics, and they are personal, business, and IT owner. A values profile. This is the result of a choice between money, speed of changes, and quality. Preferred tech stack, and even operational model. The next, we determined how each new target component will be created. Here we faced the traditional buy versus build decision point. And for different domains, we have different strategic on this. For example, in the depository domain, we have chosen in-house development based on open source technologies. Because it's absolutely, for us, for our country, it's absolutely unique functions. But for our general ledger, on the other hand, solutions from Russian vendors are excellently fit. And finally, important feature of our transformation is platformization. Some target component we developed or implemented as a part of technological platform, which reused for different business lines, for different business tasks. Such approach help us increase quality of our application, reduce our costs. For example, it's just maybe not for fun, but it's continue for your speech, Gerard. We have AI agent as a platform component, and we use AI agent in our HR solution for reading, sorting, and estimating CV, for example.
Thank you, Natalia. So we come to the last question with Bulat, and I think we have lots of questions from the audience. We have a few minutes also to answer them. So Bulat, how has your new IT architecture created tangible business value? Please share a specific example, please.
Thank you. Last conferences for CSD, I've also committed we at CMA we're moving towards innovations. So in my view, the next decade will belong to more autonomous CSDs. This requires foundational leap to fifth generation with AI. When we're talking AI-ready platform, it's not only LLMs, it's of course machine learning. Design it to analyze data and execute decisions. And real-time speed is no longer a luxury. It should be essential requirements for such kind of system. So the core of the systems should be also event-driven, acting on information as soon as it becomes available. We at CMA, of course, we have already built this AI-ready architecture. The platform is ready. I've mentioned in previous example in my answers during the discussions. But the critical question is how to shift it from technology to people. Is your business team ready to use it? Ready to be agile, ready to be adaptive, allowing these intelligent algorithms to optimize settlements, give you insights, navigate you through new opportunities in the real time. So we see that leading market participants actually are eager to learn and grow with the new architecture. We have requests. And from our side as a vendor provider, we have no conflict of interest in this regard. We are fully committed to support them on that journey. The full potential is unlocked through deep collaboration with the business and technology teams for specific use cases. Of course, it's not just only the technology, it's not only the business, it's business transformation together, turning data into actions. So in this regard, we help CSDs turn capital from static assets into dynamic tools. So I will give you a few examples which we're looking into the practice, not only just LLMs. First, imagine a robotic treasury. It's about proactive capital optimization. Right now, in a couple of countries, banks parks billions just in case of shortfall. So our system watch everything's liquidity in the real time. When one bank runs low, it doesn't just warn it. It could instantly find another bank with extra liquidity and arrange a short-term loan between them automatically. So this unlocks trapped money and stops problems before they start. As we at CMA, we're also financial market infrastructure provider with payment system, RTGS system. So we see that picture in a whole. So second use case, proactive systematic monitoring. So we should stop crisis before it started. So the system, and just an example, the system constantly scans every transaction in real time, detecting hidden patterns humans would miss, like abnormal activity in a minute, seconds, that could break the settlement process. So after that, you move to atomic settlement, then you move to real time. It flags or resolves these problems. And instead of days, which we're struggling in the legacy architecture, it will be resolved in minutes, preventing crisis before it starts. And first example, it's real-time stress testing. So it's de-risk your entire network. We can turn stress testing scenarios as they happen in the real time. So ask, what will happen if this major bank or major player will fail? What's the concentration risk? You need the numbers immediately. System use AI in terms of machine learning. It use LLM in terms of user interface to give you instantly and map you the chain reaction across the entire network. So this finds hidden risk, and this allows us to act proactive, not react in panic. So to tie this together, the goal is not to implement new kind of CSD features or new CSD generation for its own sake. The goal is to unlock new value, to create services and business models by using data, by using ML, by acting in real time to react, which you cannot react nowadays, which you cannot react using yesterday's technology. So the new architecture is the key to do that. It's foundation for the new era of safety, efficiency, at the same time, opportunities to the markets which wants to grow, to find the new business values, to find the new business models. I'm sure you will agree that future is not fixed destination. It's a landscape shaped by our choices. It's built through projects, what we're doing, as well with companies in this room, players in this room, as well with forward-thinking partners like we in CMA who are committed to turning this into the reality. So I truly believe that business value is a continuous movement. And we look forward, of course, to progress with you and together with the entire industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Bulat. I think we have a few minutes to answer maybe two of the questions from the audience. So if we can have one answer from the panelists, if we may. So the first question that says, how CSDs will transform in a term of new technology introducing, for example, digital financial assets? Anyone? Anyone from the panel wants to answer
I
this?
may go
Okay,
with
let's
the
go
first.
with
It's interesting to hear that CSD institutions and entities, we are, after so many years, talking about digital assets and DLT and so on, and we are still trying to figure it out, that question. And the thing is that I think it was mentioned before that there's no magic bullet that will address the issue. And we've been trying for many years. We all were trying to basically find a problem for a solution. So we've been trying to find, okay, how we can use certain, let's say, technology or idea or concept into what we do. But I think it's better to look the other way around. Let's try to see how we can bring efficiencies to the market rather than so. Going back to the specific question on digital assets, I think it was mentioned today in the morning also that in the end, CSDs as a concept, they bring trust. So what we are trying to create in the market is trust. As long as we go from that fundamental principle, then we can say, okay, digital assets, if there are custodians or there are clients that are interested in that asset, okay, we can find a solution to bring trust. Again, I'm not saying how do you actually do it. There are multiple ways. We can talk about public networks, private networks, permission-based, and so on. But it's not about that. It's, okay, how we bring that trust to the market, because it was just mentioned a few minutes ago that in the end, well, I think it was mentioned 90% of the people, they don't necessarily want to have like the, okay, I want to have my assets here on my, let's say, phone, assuming that is my wallet, because we may have heard those cases when people were like looking into like a huge amount of trash just to find a USB stick because it stored I don't know how many billions of cryptocurrencies. So we know that in the end, that's why people will come to a CSD. So if there's the need in the market, then let's find a solution for that, but not the other way around.
Thank you, thank you. So the second question is that what are true advantages and benefits for CSDs and market participants for moving towards blockchain technology? Anyone from, maybe Doctor?
We'll both do it. We've got 3 minutes left, so I'll take a minute and you could take a minute. There's opportunities here and there's threats as well, right? So the opportunity here for CSDs is, I think, because they're the trusted party, to start playing a role in an area of digital finance that doesn't have a great reputation, right? So if CSDs begin to play a trusted role in issuing assets onto public networks or onto other private permission networks, that's an opportunity for CSDs to start branching into a world which is, to be frank, quite alien to them, right? And if you think from contextual kind of basis, the world is changing and the profile of investors is changing as well. I was listening to a podcast the other day that said that more individuals in the world have a crypto wallet than they do have a brokerage account to buy shares, right? And if you think about it in that sense, they're trading those crypto coins 24/7, but they can't do that with equities, right? So things are changing. So CSDs have an opportunity to step in there and be the trusted party that's going to facilitate better services in a more global market. The threat is that we're already seeing companies, typically crypto companies, that saying they're going to tokenize equities and they're going to immediately trade them on a 24/7 basis. So you can imagine someone setting up a company whereby they're mobilizing assets that sitting in CSDs or sitting in global custodian accounts, and they're going to offer 24/7 trading of tokenized equities for the top 500 equities in the world. Okay, that's going to take transactions away from CSDs and potentially away from custodian banks as well. So get ready to counter that potential threat by actively participating in understanding how you can play a role in the digital world.
Thank you, Gerard. I think
I
we
can
have
add to this
50,
one as well.
We have 50
well,
seconds.
The point was missing here is that most of the CSDs are government-based because they are keeping government debt. So, but as well, we have a commercial CSDs. So as soon as you're client-driven, data-driven, you understand the flow, just pick up the flow. If DLT and blockchain takes about 5% of liquidity and just pick up and then just cost analysis. So in this regard, don't miss this opportunity. In terms of the business and regulatory point of view, of course, you can work in your environment, but technology definitely should be ready. So it's new opportunities that you can unlock and to to try and to see what's happening. Depends on the level of your maturity. Thanks.
Thank you. With this, we come to the end of this session. I'd like to thank the organizers, Mr. Adil, Dr. Ikram, and thank you, Miguel, Dr. Hossein, Gerard, and Natalia, and Bulat. Thank you very much, and have a great evening.
Thanks.
Thank you. Let's make a beautiful photo and some present for you. And now, by tradition, all participants of the panel are invited to take part in a group photo. So let's capture this moment together.